What inspired you to go on this trip?
We love scuba diving. Love it.
Yeah.
We've done that. I think we're
9
in our 9 or 10 years.
9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've done, I don't know, over 500 dives each.
Mm-hmm.
So we just love the ocean. We love to see all the amazing animals that are in there.
Yeah.
And,
Normally we go to Cozumel every year. It's just the best. But we've been to Florida as well. So, we wanted to try something different, and it's fairly close down in Freeport, Texas, a live aboard. We had actually done it last year as well, but our trip got canceled short, some problems that occurred on the boat. So we thought we had a discount, so we'd give it another try this year.
In fact, when we did it last year, she got a little seasick.
Oh, a
she's
lot
like,
seasick.
I don't know if I can do that again.
Yeah.
And about 3 weeks ago, I was like, hey, they're doing a strictly oil platform dives.
Which is what we missed last
Yeah.
year because it got canceled.
I'm like, what do you think? You think you could do it? And she's like, absolutely, let's do it. Probably should have not, but we did. So yeah, that's what kind of led us down there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it takes a certain skill set to do this. So the first time that you ever went, what made you think, let's try this?
You mean the first time we ever scuba dove?
Oh,
We went to Cozumel for our honeymoon.
yeah.
Had no idea it was a diving mecca. No idea. So I remember going to the airport and I was like, why does everybody have scuba flags on everything? On every bag, it's got scuba flags. So we go to our resort, did a little snorkeling. I'd never seen the good ocean.
Right.
I'd seen New Orleans and Galveston. So no offense to them.
They know.
No offense to them, but yeah, So we snorkeled. We're such bumpkins. When we walk in, we go to the backside of the resort where the ocean's at, and I was like, Kim, I think there's fish in there. And then you put the goggles and stuff on, and you're
And
like,
realize, yeah, there's fish everywhere.
thousands
You're
of
living
fish.
in it. You're going in an aquarium. So
So-
the first year we snorkeled, we went back the second year maybe it was the third year. I don't know. And we did one of those. I think it's called snuba.
it's like a mini
It's
submarine.
like a little motorbike that you ride, and they put the helmet on you so you don't have to breathe through the regulator, and you're just driving like the Jetsons. You're just driving around under the water, and the scuba divers would come up and they'd bring you a crab, or they would go and find some. And I was freaking out. This is the coolest thing we've ever done. We've got to learn to scuba dive.
And I said, no. Crazy people do that.
Right.
But then she talked me into it, and a couple friend of ours, we talked to them about it, and so we all took the class together at
We
Scuba
found a
Bros.
deal. Scuba Bros.
You know them?
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to them. Great training.
Yeah.
Great training. So we go to Cozumel that third year and dive in the ocean for the first time and
Fell in love. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, there's nothing like it. And so that's kind of how we got started.
Yeah. So this has kind of become routine, when you took this trip.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're pretty seasoned at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't even go anywhere if we can't dive. I mean,
Kind of plan
what
our
I'm saying?
vacations around if you can dive there.
Yeah, they got diving. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
And if not, no, we're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
So
So kind of take me through the day. How were things when they started, and then take me through.
Your receiver's cutting out. So.
mine.
No, sorry. So we'll just move the little box that he gave you.
The little box.
We can just put it we can just hold it or put it on your lap like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
But leave this in the same place.
All right, we'll just kind of take me through how the day began, and then when things kind of took a turn for you guys.
Well, on the live aboard, you're scheduled for several dives a day. I mean, we kind of jokingly say you eat, dive, eat, dive. So we had already done, the morning dive was about 7 a.m., in the same location, had already done that dive, came back up, had some breakfast. We're going to go again on the same location. But this time there were the buddy team that was in front of us. I kind of don't know how to get started on that one. So when we jump off the boat, and you're supposed to grab onto what's called a down line, and because the current was so strong, you really had to just ease yourself hand over hand going down the down line all the way down to the mooring line, which will take you to the place that you're trying to look around at. And there was a team of 3 in front of us. One of the divers lost her weight pocket out of her scuba vest, called a BCD, And if you don't have weight, you can't get down. So she has to cancel the dive. But because we are behind her, she has to reach over our hands to grab the rope on the other side. And during that ordeal, she lost the rope and started to drift away. So I point at Nathan, like, go get her. And he does. And he reaches around, and he grabs her, and he swims her all the way back to the line. She grabs it. She's okay. But by that time, he's gassed. He can't swim fast enough to get back to the rope. So I reach out for him. And then her dive buddies that were coming up behind her were trying to get over me at the same time, to try to go up the line. And they lose a handle, and they grab me and accidentally pull me off as well. So now we're both, we're not holding on to the line anymore. But that's okay. We didn't panic. No. We've been on enough dives. We know if the current is really strong in the first 30 feet, you drop down, and usually it's a lot calmer. And so that's what we did. We went down to about 60 feet underwater, and we can see the other divers who are still hanging on to the line. We see them for a while, and we're trying to swim. I'm doing my hands. You don't use your hands. Trying to keep up with them. So we can see them for a while, but then eventually we realize this current is just kicking us further and further back. And so I don't know if you actually felt this way, but when you have to give up a dive early, it just kind of feels like a waste. Like, oh, man, wah, wah. You wasted all this time. And so we were like, give each other the signal. We got to go up, okay.
And again, not worried at all.
Not worried, just disappointed at that point. Yeah. We have to miss this dive. We can't do it. So we give each other a signal. We go up to the surface. At that point, we're probably, 150 yards away from the boat. And we inflate our BCDs, so it's, put more air in so you can float on the surface. And we blow up our surface marker buoys to let them know, like, hey, we're over here. We didn't, we lost the rope. We can't dive with you. And then we just wait. And we're trying to follow protocol. That's what the safety protocol says to do. And like I said, we're experienced divers. We're not panicking. We're just waiting.
Not worried at all.
Yeah.
They'll come get us.
Yeah.
They'll see us. And I don't think they saw us.
We hoped, but we just waited on this, and the waves are taking you, and then you can see the boat, and then you can't see the boat, and you can see the boat, and you can't see the boat, until eventually you can't see the boat at all. But the whole time we were thinking, they're gonna send the dinghy. They're gonna send the dinghy. But they had some different circumstances going on the boat. Kind of difficult to talk about. We weren't there, so we're getting some different reports from different people. They never sent the dinghy. So Nathan has the good sense to tether us together so that we wouldn't get separated. And honestly, that's what saved us, because the waves were so powerful.
Not at that point.
Well, eventually.
Yeah.
We would have, there's no way we could have stayed together.
Yeah.
And so he just, kind of looked around what we had on us and MacGyvered away to link us together. And then he's like, they're going to call the Coast Guard. Again, trying not to panic. They're going to call the Coast Guard. We're going to be fine. And actually, we do see a Coast Guard plane go by.
Hours later. Because it takes them a while to mobilize.
And we knew that. And we knew what time it was because we were wearing dive watches. And as soon as we got to the surface, it tells you, it starts a clock. So we knew, when an hour had passed, when 2 hours had passed. And so we knew, okay, we got to give them time. Don't panic. Give them time. They've got to organize. They've, got to do all the things. So we were trying not to panic at that point.
Yeah. So we're at the point where we see nothing. We're just in the open ocean. There's no boats. There's nothing. We see nothing. So I'm like, okay, well, it's probably going to take a few hours. So, we just joked around. I mean, we really weren't worried at this point either. I mean, we're just like, well, this is not good, but we're good. We'll make it.
But in your mind, you said you knew we had 72 hours.
I know you can't go any further than 72 hours without water. So you can't drink the salt water, obviously. So we were a little worried about that.
But we stayed calm, like we said. I don't know if you can see, we kept our masks on. Obviously, this is a mask line. Sunburn happens. Sunblock is not meant to last 39 hours. So got a little burnt out there. But we did not breathe through our regulators just in case there was an emergency later on. So at that point, we're just sitting on the surface of the water, just breathing natural air, trying not to get splashed too much. But eventually we had to make a plan.
Yeah, so it starts getting dark, and so at this, right before then, we had seen the first Coast Guard plane go by. I saw the colors on it, and I was like, that's the Coast Guard. They know we're out here. We're gonna get found. Well, then it kind of starts getting overcast, starts raining, and I was like, they're gonna have to go in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's actually the case, if they went in, but I just know we didn't see them anymore. So I'm like, I think we're gonna be out here after dark. So as darkness comes on, we can start seeing the lights for these,
Oil rigs.
yeah, these oil platforms out in the Gulf. And so we decide that our dive computers also have a compass on them, a digital compass. And so I knew that land was to the north. I knew that where we had just been to the south, there probably were more rigs, but we couldn't see them.
There was too much rain in the background. You couldn't see anything.
Yeah, so we kind of made a plan. I was like, I think we need to go towards the nearest one we can see that's north. And so that was our plan. And, when it starts, it was like 85, 86 degree water, so it wasn't super cold, but you can't be submerged in it for very long.
And the wind is blowing. There's storms coming. So we had to keep swimming to keep our body temperatures high enough. I mean, we were chattering. It was clear.
Yeah,
it was unbearable.
We started swimming sprints. I know this sounds just so stupid, but we're like, okay, we're going to kick 30 kicks, and then we're going to take a 30-second break, and then we're going to do it again.
He made it into a game.
Yeah, we tried to make games out of it, and we were joking around with each other, just, like...
Singing songs and thinking about, well, what do you want to drink? After a gallon of water, what do you want to drink after that?
You're really thirsty. And
yeah, but it also kept our spirits up.
Yeah.
It was pretty bleak.
So it's raining. We realize, okay, lay back, and we can catch the water in our mouths. To an extent, but the waves are crashing
drops,
over. So,
but yeah, if you open your mouth, well, then you're just swallowing water every time.
So we did get a little bit of relief from some of the rain, but so we swam virtually all night. I mean,
9 hours
with lots of breaks.
Yeah.
But we basically swam all night long.
He tried to keep me entertained. There, at night there was the bioluminescence in the water, so every time we would swim, he'd try to make a pattern or sing a song underwater and watch the bioluminescence. I mean, he was great.
Yeah. Well. As were you. So it wasn't quite dawn yet, but it looked, I don't know how to gauge.
Again, we were just guessing what time, 6 o'clock, 6:30?
Yeah, maybe. And we thought we were within a couple miles of that oil platform. So we knew we were making progress. And I told her, I said, we're going to have to go well past light. But I was like, if we can make it to it, because we had been on these platforms, the previous couple days, we saw that there were, like I said, I'm a contractor, so I noticed little construction details, and I noticed that there was welded on ladders that went all the way up. Now these are probably 30 to 40 feet off the water surface, but I was like, if we can get to that, we can climb up. Even if it's not an occupied platform, I was like, there's I don't even know what you would call it, but like a command house or whatever, where they probably do communications or something. I've never been in one, but I'm like, there's gotta be. And I'm like, we can probably break in. I don't know what we can do. I was like, if we can't, and there's
But that was our best hope.
Yeah, I was like, if there's no radio communications, or if we can't make contact.
At least we're out of the water.
Yeah, I was like, there's bound to be some chemicals on those things. We could probably start a fire. And that'll alert people to come to us, right? I mean, at least that's what I thought. We never made it that far.
About 6 o'clock-ish.
A big storm came in. Coast Guard said 50-mile-an-hour winds. So we were really rocking and rolling in there. And
yeah, it completely blew us off track.
Couldn't see anything. So sun comes up, storm kind of dies down, and the platform's nowhere to be found.
By then it's daylight, and those platforms are so far away, you cannot see them. I mean, it's just open ocean from what we look like.
We must have gotten blown quite a ways away, because even during the day, you should have been able to see it if it was just a couple miles away. But we couldn't see anything. So we went to what happens next?
Well, it's sunup, and so we, again, just try to stick with the plan to keep going north. That was just, land has got to be north. So we just try to keep going north, but at this time we've been swimming all night long. We haven't had any sleep. Try finding north on our compass is okay, but we both realized, I think there were moments for both of us when you realized that you had been swimming with your eyes closed, oh gosh, wake up, He had started hallucinating at that point.
Yeah, it was a little later in the day, but yeah, I started hallucinating, and We were seeing the Coast Guard planes that second day. I mean, they were flying all around. We were just in the wrong spot.
So we did, but I don't know. At first we had hope because they're like, oh, they're just to the south of us. They're just to the west of us. It seemed like they were, and so we're going to be next. This is the section that's going to be next, you know. And meanwhile, like there's fish around us that there was some remora, which are the fish that kind of suck up next to a shark. So at first I thought there's a shark, there must be a shark nearby, but no, they were trying to suck up on us. And so he's got
to attach onto our legs and stuff.
Yeah, he's got some bite marks from those. Never saw a shark, saw a couple pods of dolphin. Pretty cool.
Which we're in a really bad situation, right?
Right.
I mean, really, we're in a bad situation.
We're close to, no, I mean, all joking aside, we're very close to death, but we're such dorks.
Like geeking out over these dolphins. Because until the previous day, I'd never seen dolphins in the water with all our dives. I just never seen them.
Yeah.
And this pod of, I don't know how many come up. Oh, also there was a school of fish that stayed with us the whole time. Well, the dolphins apparently eat that particular kind of fish.
Yeah.
So they were just, going all the way around.
Putting on a show for us, going out of the water.
Yeah, doing flips
They're
and
super
stuff.
Curious, just doing circles around us. And
So
it was an exciting moment.
Yeah, we're totally geeking out on that. Like, I can't believe we just saw that.
It's incredible.
We're still floating in the ocean.
Yeah.
This isn't great.
Unfortunately, they did not carry us to the shore.
I literally, I put my head underwater and trying to make her laugh, and I started making dolphin noises. She's like, what are you doing? And I was like,
doing?
I'm trying to tell him to go get help. It didn't work.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Flipper was not in the pack.
Yeah. So we're still seeing the planes fly over. They're just a couple miles away.
Yeah.
Again, guess. I have no idea how far they were.
And then about what we think was around 7 o'clock, we hear what we think is the last plane. Because we're watching, another hour goes by, there's no plane. Another hour goes by, no plane. And the darkness comes again. And it's really starting to get bad between us. We're starting to snipe at each other. You're swimming too fast, or I get tangled up, and that kind of thing.
But then we'd snipe at each other, and then immediately like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I
I'm not
know,
mad at you.
yeah.
I'm mad at the situation.
Right. Trying to keep a level head the whole time,
Yeah.
discussing what we believe about God in that situation, But it's getting rough. I think we both, without talking about it, I think we both kind of thought,
We may be getting
This
close
is it.
to the end.
you
You can feel our bodies like shutting down. I
Yeah.
was starting to get dry heaves.
he was dry heaving, and so we both kind of knew like his
Yeah.
body's shutting down. That's what we knew.
Yeah, and so like she said, the darkness comes the second night. We start seeing the platforms, and at this point, our dive watches have died. So we have
Didn't really know which way was north at that point.
We didn't have a clear sky, so we
Right.
couldn't even look at, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like,
So we're looking all around us there now because it's a clear night. There's rig lights everywhere, all in every direction. So we try to pick the one that we think is the closest, but based on how bright it was,
and in the meantime, the Coast Guard plane's back.
yeah,
But still not
just
where we're
out
at.
of just out of our section.
And I'd asked her earlier in the day, I said, I don't remember Morse code. Do you? She said, yeah, my dad taught me. Her dad's a Navy guy. You learn that stuff early, I guess. So she knew it. So we're getting close to, I'm thinking it's around midnight. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
And we are absolutely deflated because we're like, they're not going to find
yeah.
us. They're in the
There had
wrong-
been so many planes come before that didn't see us that we just kind of were losing hope.
And at the last minute, that plane turned back towards us, and we found out later, the lady that was the coordination with all the,
I think her name is Nina.
is that her name?
I think so.
With all the different Coast Guard crews that were out looking for us, she decided to try to come off the sectors they were supposed to be in. She just had a hunch, and they turned their plane.
Yeah, she just had a hunch, and she said, I want to give it one more try. Those Coast Guard guys, men and women, didn't want to give up on us.
No.
They wanted to find us as much as one wanted to be found, I think.
And
So she runs a different pattern and decides to look in just the next section, I think. And that plane turns towards us. I hit it with the light and just try to do the SOS pattern. Just thinking, I just wanted them to see, like, we're not an oil rig, we're not a fishing buoy, this is people down here just trying to do, probably I was just going like this, you know what I mean? But I was trying my hardest. And they saw us.
But we still weren't for sure.
We weren't for sure. We still had doubt because so many other planes we thought saw us and didn't.
We just had been up and down like
Emotionally we.
And so we were trying not to get
spent.
excited, but I was like, they might have seen us. I don't know. And they even flew directly over us and dropped down low. And
We thought
still-
they would tip the wings or something, and we never.
didn't know.
We didn't know, and so it turns out they were dropping down low to let us know that they
They'd
had
seen
seen
us.
us. And then that plane stayed with us, making crisscross patterns over us in the water, like for probably the next 30 minutes. We have no idea how much time. And unbeknownst to us, they had dropped these flares in the water to help the Coast Guard find us. Well, again, that doubt, that fear that was coming in, we didn't know the flares were flares. We thought it was a boat. And so it looked like those flares keep coming, but they're not making the turn
over
towards us.
here.
We're over here. So I'm with my light just going crazy above us, trying to show them where we're at. And then if the flames are right here, the Coast Guard boat comes right at the corner of my eye, and I mean, they are moving fast. And all of a sudden we hear their voices, there they are, and we knew we were safe.
So those guys.
It's incredible.
Yeah, those guys get to us, and they're like, "We're gonna pick you up," and I was like, "I'm a big dude. Like, I don't think you're just gonna pick me up and pull me over." And they're like, "We got you."
Nothing to worry about.
So these two big
These
old yoked
studs,
dudes
yes.
reach down in the water and literally pull us from death.
Yeah.
And we get in I think it's a fast boat. I don't know if that's the right words. And the
They've
first
got wool
thing,
blankets on us
Yeah,
immediately. Water, Pedialyte, like telling us we're okay, we're safe.
and the first thing we're thinking is, do you have a phone? We have to call our parents because they think we're dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The grief they're going through.
Yeah, we felt really guilty. I know that sounds like a silly thing to say, but we felt really guilty for putting our families through such torture.
So they said, we'd just gotten in the fast boat.
Yeah,
right? And
they
said-
just pulled us out of the water.
And I heard him on the radio, and I don't even know what they said, but he goes, "No, they've already been notified."
Your families already know.
How? We've not been in the boat 10 seconds. How'd that happen? And so they took us to the cutter. We went in the cutter. Neither one of us could walk. We were shot. In fact, when we were doing the
carried
SOS, I could do it about once. My light had a little button on the back, which, by the way, I'm going to sound so dumb when I tell you this. I'm doing the pattern, and I'm like, I could do it once, and then I just couldn't do it anymore.
He was so weak.
I had no
He had
strength.
no strength at all.
And she goes, "Why are you not just turning it on and using your hand to block it?" And I was like, "Yep, that's a better idea. It's a lot better than what I had going here." But these guys get us to the ship. They basically carry us down in some part in the ship. The medics come in. They check everything on us. These guys and girls, I just can't explain how amazing they were. They even had the temperature of the boat brought down so that we didn't bring our core temperature up too quickly.
We thought of everything.
So then they knew that, we've been exposed, so they got us in lukewarm showers. They said, you can't do hot. They got clothes off their own backs.
They went into their own bunks and got us their own clothes so that we would have something dry. So we would have something dry to put on.
Yeah. Unreal. And then they set up with us. I think that was probably, 1, 2 a.m. We had to go until about 7 a.m., 6 a.m. maybe, to where they were going to do the drop-off point to get us into the hospital. And the CO, the XO, all of these people stayed up with us and talked to us. And they kept saying, you need to go to sleep. But we were so excited, like adrenaline like crazy.
Yeah.
Sitting
He
there
was telling
jokes.
stories and jokes and making connections. And we took pictures with everybody. We're best friends now.
Yeah. These guys were amazing. I mean, just absolutely amazing. I don't know how to say it.
Can't say enough
other
good.
than that.
They're
Yeah,
heroes.
absolutely.
Thank God
So-
for the Coast Guard.
So we get to, they put us back in the fast boat or whatever it's called, take us into port. We go into the Coast Guard, is it called a base or a station? Station? All right. You're going to edit that out. They take us to the Coast Guard station in Freeport. Those guys offload us, got an ambulance waiting. They take us straight to
St. Lucas
Yeah,
Hospital
I forget where.
in Lake Jackson.
Lake Jackson, Texas. We go into the ER. Half the people already know our story. I mean, the people that are
Just seems
working there, they could not have taken better care
Yeah,
of
treat
us.
us like kings.
Like they may have trained with the Coast Guard. I'm not for sure.
Well, and get it to the ER, and it's the first time we've been separated in 40 hours. And I think we were both just super, super nervous about that. And so they made special arrangements and let us stay together.
She got admitted, and normally if like you've stayed with a loved one in a hospital, they just put a chair in there or whatever, that kind of.
One of those recliners, but
They brought a full-on hospital bed
Yeah.
and stuck us right next to each other so we could hold hands.
it was
And-
precious.
And
I was jokingly, I have a friend in Houston who came down to see us, and jokingly I said to her, his snores right now are the sweetest thing I've ever heard. Yeah.
But she got admitted for a couple of days, and then we got released. Oh, our brothers, her brother and my
Yeah.
brother and his wife and 2 of our nephews, within 5 minutes, they heard
They
we're
were- yeah.
alive. They're in a truck, and they're on their way to pick us up.
Yeah, nothing was going to stop them.
And my
Yeah.
2 nephews came with it. Like, they told them, no, you don't
Yeah.
need to come. They're like, no, we're going. You can't stop us. If you try to stop us, we're taking our own car.
Yeah.
So they came down. They actually got our car and took it back. And then my brother and his wife stayed with us. Like I said, her brother was at the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about just an emotional, just roller coaster.
Because at this point, we're still like learning what our family knew. We weren't sure at that point. So
Yeah, we were trying to.
piece it all together. Of course, in our minds are,
Yeah. During the ordeal,
Exhausted.
when we kind of first realized, like, we're gonna be out here a while, we were super worried about my mom because she had just lost her husband of 50-something years a year and a half ago, and we cannot do this.
we didn't want to put the stress on her.
So we're like, if we can get picked up by 12:30.
We really were like, come on, if we could just get rescued by like 10 a.m., then Mom would never have to know. We would never put her through the stress.
So when we tell the Coast Guard, like, can you please use a phone? They're like, oh, they already know all about it.
Yeah.
We had no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
But we get released, and I think this is just kind of icing on the cake. I think it's so cool. She gets released on Sunday, about 1 o'clock. That's our anniversary. So my brother hooks us up with like.
Well, we went out to Kenny and Ziggy's.
Yeah, we went to
that
Kenny
was
and
our first
Ziggy's.
meal. We were very excited about that.
Yeah. It's a delicatessen down there.
Yep.
But he got us a baller suite
Yeah.
at the Hyatt. I
Yeah.
mean, like, really nice place. And we all got to stay together.
Yeah,
and,
that was precious.
It was great.
Yeah.
So we came in last night, and there were hundreds of people lining our road. Fire department was out here. Everybody, all these people.
We did not expect that.
Like, why would they be here for us?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was.
Because again, we still felt guilty for putting everybody through such hell.
Yeah. Not so much guilt that we're not going to dive again. We're just not going to do a live aboard. Oh, and I got to say this because I think it's so funny. We did an interview with, I don't know which one it was.
Inside Edition. Well, it was, yeah,
two
Good Morning
different
America
ones.
and Inside Edition.
And they asked, are you guys going to dive again? She thinks she's so brilliant.
I've been working
honestly.
on this the whole day.
She goes, we're probably going to stay. No, you said.
Yeah, we're probably going to stick to the rivers and lakes that we're used to.
Do you get it? And then one of the guys.
I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah, one of the guys got it. He's dying laughing. I'm like, please tell me that goes in the story. It didn't make it. It didn't make it. But I'm like, she never lost her sense of humor. You're awesome. So that's our
our
story.
Just for my information, what date was the trip originally, and when were you guys rescued?
Okay, so
Wednesday, I'll have to look at a phone.
we got on the boat Sunday night at
24th?
like
24th? Oh, the boat.
21st. I believe it was Sunday.
Okay.
A week ago.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's been
more than a week ago.
We got on the boat. I think it was the 21st. I think we were supposed to get off on the 24th.
Okay.
I think that's right. If that's Sunday.
It's the
through
Wednesday, yeah, last Wednesday.
Yeah, we were out a little longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That just helps me out.
Yeah.
You know, I think, Nathan, one of the things, that I think is really critical to this is the whole reason you guys ended up in this situation in the first place is because you tried to help somebody else.
I mean, yeah, but like I said, like the way that we were, like that was, you just do it. Like if somebody needs help, you got to do it, right? I mean, you'd want that if you were in that situation, right? And so, I mean, and it was so neat because we just met this lady on the boat,
Yeah.
on this trip, and we've become, honestly, I mean, you know how it is. I mean, bad stuff brings people together, but I mean, I would consider her a great friend now.
She's been so helpful to our family. She made all the connections between people and gotten people in touch with the Coast Guard and got people in touch with our families. And
I don't know
so
if you know, Justin is the one that reached out to her.
one of our good friends.
Yeah, that just made a connection on Facebook or something, some site. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not mad at this lady at all. Like,
No.
it was not her fault.
No. Let the next part go.
Okay.
But it's important to you to help others.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we were both, that was instilled in us as kids, you know? I mean, my father-in-law was a fireman. He was in the Navy. Yep. My dad was a fireman. Yep. My brothers are firemen. I mean, everybody in our family,
firefighter.
like, that's what we did. You know what I mean?
Heroes.
So, what'd you say?
Heroes.
No.
You are all heroes.
Those guys.
The Coast Guard is
are
our,
heroes.
for sure.
But, yeah, so, I mean, somebody around you needs help, you help them, right?
I mean, you guys are obviously cards, and you have fun, and you laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Laughter is the best medicine. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we do a lot of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
We're pretty cute.
Spitting facts right now.
You sounded old school just now. Your grandpa taught you that, didn't he? From Wisconsin. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I could not wait to say that.
But how do you do that when you're in the middle of the ocean? And
How do you do what?
How do you laugh? How do you, think about, we're gonna make it. We're gonna figure this out.
I mean, we're realists.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew we were in a bad situation, but I know, again, from our dads, you don't freak out. If you freak out, you lose it.
Now, we definitely had moments of freak out as well, but I think we make a pretty good team.
Yeah.
When
so
he
like,
would freak out, I would try to calm him down. When I would freak out, he would try to calm me down. So, we had to keep swimming the whole time. Meanwhile, because you're buoyant, you're staying on the water, our feet were getting more swollen and swollen and swollen. Not to mention the salt water that you're inevitably ingesting unintentionally. So we're getting swollen, and my feet start to hurt so bad. We both got bruises all over us. But you had to keep kicking. Otherwise, you would have just been shivering so much that you couldn't move at all. So he would come over and rub my feet for a little while and rub my back for a little while. And it was just precious but also like so greatly needed. I remember thinking at one point, if I could just sit down for a minute, like I just need 1 minute and I could keep going, but there was no relief. There was no rest at all at any point, because the moment you tried to lean back and just float for a minute and take a breath, well, then you started more of your body was exposed, and so you're just shivering, and then you had to start it all over again and keep swimming.
Yeah.
But I don't know, we sang songs and told jokes, and I think at one point, like, I started singing this campfire song. Like, I wasn't in the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, I was in the campfire song. Okay, just songs from your childhood that you're like, what song do I know all the words to without the music behind it,
I know the words to no song. I just make up my own words, and
Yeah.
it's bad.
It's fine. It's
Invisible
fine.
talk show?
Invisible talk show.
So anyway, yeah. Sorry, we'll lock it down.
No, you won't.
No, we won't.
I want to talk about I see welcome home. I saw the sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of important people
Oh man.
out here.
Oh man.
Tell ya. So like we said, one of the things that we were worried about was his mom finding out and being worried about us, and we just thought that was going to take her out. She wasn't going to be able to handle it. And so when we got on the Coast Guard boat,
Go ahead.
and we found out Mom already knew, all of our nieces and nephews and his brother and sister were taking care of Mom for us. The fact that we didn't have to worry about that was such a relief.
Yeah, they kind of were holding like vigil. You know what I mean? Like, I think they all stayed together during this whole ordeal, except for my brother found out. And I guess when they got the word, they just said it was just magical. I mean, because
You went from the lowest of lows to the highest of
yeah,
highs.
he's like, just like that. And we just couldn't wait to get back and hug everybody. You know, like I think we knew we were liked, but I don't think we realized how much we were loved.
Yeah.
And so when we pulled onto our road last night, and there's hundreds of
Okay,
people.
but back up, because it's just kind of a silly detail. So I think, and I could be wrong, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, I think it was our church family who was organizing it. We are on the church prayer list email or text message. So we were getting text messages. We knew that something was going to be here, but we thought it was just going to be our church family. And then we make that turn down towards our road, and there's fire trucks, and there's, I mean, balloons and signs, and
All of her teacher.
all of my teacher friends, even people that don't work with me anymore, you know, like from the past, like Cabe, and just the signs and balloons and the laughter and hugs.
It was
And
amazing.
I
It
mean,
was amazing.
yeah,
Could not have.
we
felt
were
more loved.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was precious.
Yeah. Yeah. Am I supposed to say something? I can't. I have a little bit of hard of hearing. I was like, did he ask a question or not?
If you guys could say something to the Coast Guard team, rescue you, what would you say?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We don't think Coast Guard gets enough credit for what they do. Those are absolute heroes, studs, every one of them, even the girls. Absolute, just amazing, amazing people.
Oh, they
And we owe you our lives. You know?
yeah, absolutely. They pulled us from death.
Yeah.
There's no question in my mind.
And they act like, oh, this is just part of the job.
They kept telling us that we were their heroes.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, I've stood on the other side of this. As being a firefighter, I've heard people say this to me. You don't understand how much what you just did for me and my wife. Like, oh, yeah, they're just. I don't know the words to praise them for what they do, and they
can we?
wouldn't give up.
They did not want to give up.
If I understood it correctly, the cutter was actually getting called off.
I think we were 1 hour away from them calling it a recovery instead of a rescue.
And the CO said, no,
Yeah.
we got to keep looking.
Yeah.
Just.
The Edgar Culverson. You want to get that on? The
Yeah,
Edgar
in fact,
Culverson.
Can I grab my list right there? Because I want to name all of these are the only ones I know of. There's probably more, but this is such a big thing to us. So the Coast Guard cutter, Edgar Culberson. Did I say it wrong?
No, I said it wrong.
Oh. Commanding officer was Bernardi. That guy was freaking awesome,
Yeah.
too.
Is
He
he the-
comes
Yeah.
walking out, and I'm just thinking he's just one of the guys. It was 3 hours into it before we realized he's in charge of the whole ship. He was just such a cool, laid-back guy.
Yeah.
U.S. Coast Guard Sector Corpus Christi,
Get it to turn this way.
U.S. Air Station Houston, U.S. Coast Guard Station Port O'Connor, and the U.S. Coast Guard Heartland. We love these people with everything that we have left. And I cannot wait to meet them someday and hug their necks.
I think we get
that
to
they
meet them
wouldn't-
soon.
That they didn't give up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be part of the family forever.
Oh gosh. You have no idea.
Yeah.
We thought we might get a chance to meet them next month. And we thought it would be cool since they gave us their clothes. We wanted to get some fire department shirts and maybe some of my school shirts, Northern Hills. Maybe get them and give them our clothes back. Like, we're trying to work it out.
In fact, when we were in the hospital, our sister-in-law, who is just a whiz at like connecting all this stuff together, like I said, she's over communications for the city of Guthrie. I said, man, I'm trying to find some Coast Guard hats. So I really want one.
Because we knew we were going to have interviews
And
that
I was
already
like,
been kind of
that was the
lining
whole
up.
thing. We don't want to do interviews unless we could praise the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
And she goes, give me a second. Nobody has them down there. So she calls the Coast Guard. They brought them to the hospital for us.
Yep.
That said we will not be on camera. They didn't want any attention.
But man, I hope everywhere they go, I was trying to fall asleep that first night, and again, that really nice hotel, trying to fall asleep. I just kept thinking, I hope these guys go out for a drink and everybody just cheers for them and buys them a drink and just absolutely celebrates them as heroes.
We just talk about.
I wish I could.
I
wish I could right now.
So bad.
Yeah.
Crack a beer with those guys. Oh man.
Yeah. We owe our lives.
Yeah.
The only other thing I really want to know is just the moment when you get to see your loved ones again.
Oh gosh.
Well, we got to see these two about 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. They were down in Texas. And then last night, my mom and I got to embrace her for quite a while.
Yeah.
And hug my sister and all my nephews and nieces and all our family. I mean, we've got a large extended family. And I mean, everybody is so tight in our family. And that's, I know people say that, but like,
It's different for us.
yeah, it's different. So
Pretty
just,
special.
yeah, just the greatest feeling to pull in and just to be able to hug our loved ones,
Yeah.
man. That was the greatest.
You thought we weren't going to be able to again?
Yeah, yeah.
You said it's different. It's different for you. Why is it different?
The makers are something different. They are just such a tight-knit family. Every birthday is spent together. Every holiday is spent together. Nobody has a recital or anything that we're all not invited to and go. And like I said, all of our nieces and nephews are here taking care of Mom and our house as well. And we didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to say, oh, can you remember this or that? And I mean, it was taken care of. And I mean, every little thing, they were more concerned with us than they were about themselves, even though, like I said, they went through hell too. And I think they don't get enough credit for that because they're trying to compare, well, it wasn't in the ocean. But I can't imagine what they went through, and I still feel guilty that we put them through that. What was kind of funny though, and we have to take it back to a joke, but my sister-in-law said she can't wait until, we don't have any kids of our own, so our nieces and nephews are kind of our kids. And she said she can't wait till they have their own kids and they go over to Auntie Kim and try to act like they're thirsty. And you want to tell me about thirst? Wait till you hear Motion 39 out. I'm just kidding.
Calm down.
It's funny.
It is funny.
I would never say that, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Health-wise, how are you guys?
I didn't realize today until how tired I was,
Yeah.
just barely able to keep my eyes open. So both of us, and I think our whole family thought, in the ocean, he's more at risk. He's got underlying health factors and stuff going on. I'm comparatively healthy. But when we made it to the ER, I was the one who had the elevated white count and heart rate off the charts and everything. Turns out I had something called acute rhabdo, which is where your muscle proteins break down and can get, if your kidneys filtered out, you go into kidney failure. So they had to watch me pretty closely and try to figure out what was going on. Most of it was stress, and dehydration and stuff. He got checked out pretty early, but still obviously just as exhausted and sunburnt and dehydrated and everything. So it might take a while, to get back to normal. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Cuts and bruises and things like that, but
Jellyfish stings.
jellyfish
all over.
stings.
Those little suckers.
The remora. And the remora too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I obviously like to give, anyone that I speak to the full control, over their stories. It's your guys' story.
I appreciate that.
What do you want people to take away? If anything else.
Coast Guard is made up of a group of heroes. We can't praise them enough. Honestly, and we talked about it because if it was up to me, I probably would have said no to all of these interviews just because I'm tired and I want to, get back to life as normal. But he mentioned we need to give praise to the Coast Guard, if for no other reason, to give them the credit for saving our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our message. Thank God for Coast Guard.
Yeah. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Something else we talked about
Yeah.
after,
We're just
after
gonna keep
we kind
talking.
of got put back together was so much divisiveness now. It's in the world. And we got on the ship with those guys and none of that stuff mattered.
Yeah.
How do we go back to that? Do you know what I mean? I'm just sick of all of that. It'd be cool if everybody could just be friends again. Sound like a child. I'm serious though. I hate it. All right, don't use that.
No, but okay, so, a lot of people have said our story is a lot like that movie, Open Water. But we said, but ours is a love story. Ours is a happy ending.
And we lived.
And that's what I'm saying. We, yeah, but Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think we make a really good team. I think it was because of our love for each other
For sure.
that we made it.
Yeah. I sound like a Valley girl. Just
For sure.
for sure.
But how different it could have been.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if we weren't have been tied together,
Yeah.
we're done. There's no
way.
doubt.
I could not have done this on my own.
I couldn't have done it without
I have
her.
no interest in doing it on my own.
No. But I mean, God, look in her eyes, and it's just like we don't give up, right?
Yep.
No. We're here today.
Yep. We're here.
Yeah.
We made it.
Well, thank you both for doing this. And anything else that you want to say that I didn't get to? And I mean, Nathan, you took it. I didn't have to ask any questions.
I told you I'm a talker, man. Ask my in-laws. They're like, this guy never shuts up. I saw you lower your head. But no, I mean, I really want to thank all of our family for like just hanging in there, you know what I mean? And putting up with us. But the Coast Guard, man, and like our church family, they were all, I mean, it was amazing when we got back on shore and started looking at phones. I had no idea that, let alone anybody in Edmond knew about it. Not just the state, not just Oklahoma and Texas, or not just the nation. We started seeing stuff from all over the world, and I was like, whoa, like, that's crazy.
I think, and you know, the guy at the restaurant said it's an inspiring story, and people need to hear that. And I hope that the people are inspired. You know, like teamwork or love, or I don't know what the message is.
Go with love.
Love.
Yeah.
Love.
I think it says something about that in the Bible.